Gypsy Hill, Bandit, gluten-free pale ale.
Life is too short to be drinking shitty beer.
Welcome to another edition of Bandit Bikes and Booze Reviews. I've got a can of Bandit from the Gypsy Hill Brewery in South London. From South London, I should say. I've had a couple of theirs before. They did a collaboration stout, I think it was, with someone. I can't remember who it was, but I do remember it as being quite nice. And a mate of mine picked up some of these and he was showing me and he said they're really good, so I thought I would give it a go, and I picked up some of their gluten-free pale ale because it was cheap. I think it came from Beer Sniffers, and I've heard good things about it. I've seen a lot of people reviewing their stuff, so I thought I might as well get in on the act. Now, gluten-free pale ale, a lot of people are doing these now, and they're, well, gluten-free beer to be precise, and I've reviewed quite a few gluten-free beers on the channel. And they're a bit hit and miss because, you know, if you're taking something out of the beer, i.e. the malt content, or more specifically the enzyme that is in the malt, then you're going to sacrifice a little bit of flavour. But I wouldn't let that put me off, because there are some really good gluten-free beers out there, regardless of the style. I've had gluten-free lagers, pale ales, IPAs, etc. They're hit and miss. Some of them are not so good. Some of them are pretty okay, and some of them are quite nice, you know, quite drinkable. Anyway, I've got this stuff. They're, as I say, they're based in South London. Gypsy Hill, of course, as the name suggests. That is sort of Crystal Palace area, if you're interested. You know, I've sort of been in that area when I've been West Ham away, but I wouldn't normally go to South London, to be honest. And the further I used to get into South London was no further than the Millwall ground when we used to play Millwall. But there are a few good pubs in South London. Don't let the fact that it's just full of wrong-uns just sign me a death warrant there. I'm from North London, so, you know, north of the river, south of the river, there's a lot of, I wouldn't say there's a lot of animosity. There used to be, there isn't now. It's all hugs and kisses now. I just think, oh, fucking hell. Let's go back to the days of fucking unwarranted, completely mindless violence. No, let's not, because it was pretty shit. Anyway, let's investigate this beer. Right, Magoo will get the bins on. Now, this is quite an interesting beer because it has got a fucking shit ton of ingredients in there. And I did a quick scan of the brew sheet, and it really is something to behold. Do you know what, to be honest, I really can't be asked reading what is on the side. You know I sound like a fucking bellend when I try to read off the side of a can. There it is there. Pause it, read it. There's the front of the can. There's the other side. Pause it, read it. I have to say, the artwork on the can is quite good. They've really done a good job on it, and it's just a wrap round adhesive type label, but it's, yeah, it looks pretty good. And he's one of the staff. All this range that they've got, fellas on the front of them and women as well, they're the staff of the brewery, so they've each been dedicated a beer, which, you know, not a bad shout. The ingredients on this are quite interesting. It's got some pale malt in there, which is of course the base malt. It's got some FMO malt, I don't know what the fuck that is, but they've got that in there. They've got Caragold, which is like a brand name for crystal malt. It's got the same sort of thing. It adds body and it adds colour, gives it a little touch sweetness too. And it's got something called Carahel, which is like a German malt, and that's quite common in wheat beers. And it gives it body, it gives it colour, and it gives it a bit of flavour as well. So that's your malt on there. The hops, they've got quite a few in here. You've got Citra hops in here, which of course are the go-to hops for IPAs And you know, that citrusy American type flavour used in a hell of a lot of stuff. The Equinault, I think that's how it's pronounced, is this, you know, again, more citrus, touch of fruit on there, but it's also got like a herbal type note to it as well, which can flavour IPAs and pale ales quite nicely. You've got Simcoe, of course, which is again more citrus, but you've got earth and you've got resinous pine on top of that as well. And they've used Magnum as the bitter in hop in this as well, so it's quite, you know, full on with the hops, as they say. But there's also Vermont yeast in this as well, and I'm assuming, I don't really know too much about yeast, I should really research yeast because I'm not too well up in all the strains, but if it's called Vermont yeast, I'm assuming that it's something that's going to add even more citrus, because of course, you know, Vermont is the home of the New England IPA. Anyway, let's stop guessing and let's start drinking. Right, let's get this. Oh, what the fuck? I thought that was going to go all over the place. I was watching Northern Southern beer reviews yesterday, and he reviewed one of the Goose Island beers. Why, I don't know, but it went everywhere, you know. I thought it was quite funny because it was all going all over the place. Yeah, how to look a complete twat when opening a beer. It's happened to us all. We've all done it. So yeah, I thought that was going to happen here, but it's not. It's just settled on the top of the can. I'm not going to sniff it. Well, am I? Oh, go on then, fuck it. Yeah, quite citrusy and quite fruity as well. There's a fair bit of orange and passion fruit on there too, which I'd sort of expect from, you know, what I said about the yeast and some of them hops as well. There's a hell of a lot of citrus in them hops. Don't know whether this is dry hopped or not, but from there was a hell of a lot of aroma coming out. Can is quite nice, as I say. I showed you the artwork on there. He's one of the fellas who works, or that's a representation of one of the fellas who works at the brewery. But it looks nice. Look at that, nice and hazy. One finger foamy white head. Yeah, nice grapefruit bitterness. A lot of orangey, juicy aromas coming from that. A little touch of pine too, but the pine is a bit subdued. It's all about the fruit on this one. Let's get it down the hatch. Not bad. Very, very citrusy. Mango aftertaste. Touch of tropical stone fruit like peach and apricot on there. Now there's a little note of pine on there too, and that's quite nice. It's subtle, but it's definitely there. The malt, I have to say, is not really there at all. I'm not really getting much malt on that. Carbonation is a bit in your face. Not too bad, but it's definitely there. It's not off-putting, but it's you know it's there. I think that will probably calm down a little bit when the head's gone to nothing now. But it is, for all intents and purposes, quite a drinkable, gluten-free pale ale. I'm impressed with it. And as I said before, on all these gluten-free videos, you know, it's no laughing matter if you've got a gluten intolerance. Oh, and I've just seen a little bit of yeast residue on that. That's nice. So it's not filtered or pasteurised, as you would expect. I think that, I must admit, I think wow, do you know what? Since putting that last bit in, there was a hell of a lot more orange on that now. And mango too. It's definitely a fruit fest in this one. It's quite light ABV too on this, 3.8. So it's easily a... Have they called it a session pale ale? No, just call it a gluten free. You could quite easily pass that as a session pale ale. Yeah, carbonation's calming down now. It's turning into quite a nice, pleasant pale ale, American style pale ale. A lot of fruit in here though, really is. Nice, and there's almost, I said the malts weren't coming through, but there's almost like a sugary, not a sickly sweet, but a sugary texture. It's hard to describe, but I am getting that in the mouth. I'm not sure whether that's coming from the hops or the malt, but there's like a sugary type texture to it as well, which is nice. Really nice. Up front, sweet fruit, sweet citrus fruit, tropical stone fruit, and then on the arse end, touch of pine. You got you got the carbonation in there as well. It's calmed down a bit, but it's still there. You can still feel it. But all in all, as gluten-free beers go, that is not bad at all. And if you're a fan of New England IPAs, you can't drink them because of them. I know they're mostly hops, but there's still malt in there, and it can, you know, if you've got the intolerance, it can affect you. This is not a bad substitute. Obviously, it hasn't got the high ABV, but it's very full flavoured, and I can see why they put all that malt. They went to town on the malt with this, and it's got a lovely body to it as well. It's not weak at all. Very nice. That's a good effort from them, Gypsy Hill. Well done. So what's the verdict? Yeah, this was a brewery that I tried one of their collaborations before, and it was quite good. And I hadn't touched them in a long time, and a mate sent me the photo of him drinking this and said, you got to check it out, they're quite good. I don't know what he was drinking. It wasn't this one, it was another one, but he said it's really good. So I saw this was quite cheap actually. It was under £2, and I thought I'd give it a go, and I'm glad I did. That's not bad at all. As gluten-free beers go, you would not know it's gluten-free. There's quite a lot of body to that. It's, you know, they've really done their homework on the malt and how to get the body up on that. And all in all, yeah, I'm impressed. That is quite good. I'm going to give that an 8 out of 10. I'm going to recommend that, because even if you're not gluten intolerant, then this is a good beer. And if you like these session American style pale ales, this is a good one. You wouldn't know it's gluten free. Well, you wouldn't really, because, you know, these aren't about the malts, they're all about the hops. But it's nice. I'll give that an 8 out of 10, and I recommend it. And remember, beer is working class champagne.